going on? Welcome into Crystal Ball College Football. I'm your host, Grayson Grunhafer. Let's talk about Clemson, shall we? I haven't talked about them a ton, and coming into the year, high expectations, right? This is a program that has been the elite of the elite, and for good reason. They've been awesome. They've had some really good teams, really good quarterbacks, and won national championships, and that all matters. But this year, this specific team, I have a lot of question marks. I have a whole lot of question marks as we kind of move forward into the season, and I need to see this team take steps forward. And based on what I've seen so far, this week they beat Louisiana Tech 48-20. I know it was 34-6 going into the fourth quarter. I understand it was a beatdown for sure, but I have this eerie feeling in my gut that this offense is not great, and I also have this feeling that the elite defense they had a year ago might not be quite as elite as they were last season, a year that they went 10-3, had a very good year, but they really relied on that defense to carry them for long stretches. This year, they're more of like the offense is average now, and the defense went from elite to great. That's kind of how I see them currently. Now, how does that unfold in the ACC? I'm not really sure yet. I'm not really sure, but we're going to talk about kind of where they're at right now, and we're going to talk about this matchup that they have with Wake Forest coming up this weekend. So, first of all, I got to say, DJ has played much better at the quarterback position than I thought he would coming into the year. He's actually completing 65% of his passes, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's a big stat. He's not turning the ball over as much as he did a year ago. The yards per attempt are a little underwhelming. 8.1 right now is where he's at. That's a stat I definitely look at for explosiveness, and they simply have not been that through the passing game, even though he has played better taking care of the football. I like their running attack, and something that really confuses me is they're averaging 5.1 yards per carry at this moment, yet they don't run it a ton. They're outside the top 50 in rushing yards per game, yet they're averaging 5.1 yards per carry. I do feel like that's an area they need to rely on more. And I understand you don't want to overwork Will Shipley. You want to kind of divvy things out, and he's been by far the most productive, which is unfortunate. Kobe Pace, Phil Maffa, they're averaging under 4 yards per carry, and then you got Will Shipley over there averaging 7.8 yards per carry and really holding up the running attack. So they need him to stay healthy, so I get that part of it. But going into conference play, this is a team that needs to focus on running the football. And when they run the football and when they're aggressive up front, they're going to give DJ a lot more opportunities, I think, with play action passing and opportunities to just make easier throws. And I'm expecting to see that going forward. I like some of the receivers, Bo Collins, Joseph Ngata, they have some guys. And I think those guys will continue to improve throughout the year. But they're only going to go as far as DJU goes and as far as the run game goes. So we'll see if they're able to keep that going. I think what I'm seeing right now is Louisiana Tech game gave me a feel that, okay, I think they're improving, but the question is how much? Their first 3 games, Georgia Tech, Furman, Louisiana Tech, I'm not learning much. Georgia Tech is a complete dumpster fire. Furman, not a good team at all. They really didn't look great in that one. And then Louisiana Tech is a team that's as good as their record says. They're 1-2. They're not great. And so now you're looking at a team that's going into this matchup against Wake Forest, a Wake Forest team that is pretty good. I'm not going to say that Wake Forest is great, but, they've been tested. They played VMI, not a good team, but they went on the road to Vanderbilt, won that one by 20, a Vanderbilt team that maybe not great, but I don't think they're horrific like they have been in the past. And then they survived against Liberty, but a Liberty team that I do think is pretty solid. So now you look at this matchup. Clemson is a 7-point favorite on the road at Wake Forest. Over-under is 55.5. Some of the things I'm looking at here, and some of the things that are just, it's the odd things, right, in college football, because it's all about doing the little things, right? It's all about getting stops in the red zone, third down conversions, getting stops there, not giving up points, right? So completely weird stat going into this game. Clemson has allowed 314.7 yards per game. That is the exact, to the decimal, same amount of yards that Wake Forest is giving up at this moment in the season, defensively. I think if you ask anyone in the country, they're going to say Wake Forest doesn't have a good defense. And they're going to say Clemson has a really good defense. Well, So far throughout the year, yardage-wise, they're pretty similar. The big difference is Clemson's only giving up 14 points per game, and Wake is giving up 23.7 points per game. It's a huge difference, right? So it's that amount of yards, but Clemson's making up for it by getting stops when they need to. They're playing bend but don't break defense. Wake Forest is giving up points. So it's interesting, though, because the yardage numbers, yes, okay, you look at it and you go, yeah, but they're getting stops. They're only giving up 14 points per game. But guys, they've played Furman, Louisiana Tech, and Georgia Tech. That's not great. That's not great that they're giving up that kind of yardage to those teams. Those aren't good teams. As far as Wake goes and kind of diving into this matchup a little bit, Wake just ran for 21 yards against Liberty. 21 yards. This is a team that simply cannot run the football. Sam Hartman was their leading rusher in this game, and now they're facing a Clemson team that, while, like I said, they have taken a step back defensively, I will tell you this, they are stout against the run. Wake Forest is not running the football at all in this football game. They're just not. Take that to the bank. They're not running the football. I would honestly be shocked if they get over 70 yards rushing in this game, frankly. Maybe they give up one explosive, and that skews the numbers, but consistently, they're getting nothing on the ground. They're going to average less than 2 yards per carry. Just go ahead and bank on that. On the flip side, though, this Clemson team does give up 245 yards passing per game. So that's where they've been hit. They're giving up 9.5 yards per completion. And the thing about Wake is they haven't even really cared about running the football. They're just going to let Sam Hartman go out there and sling it around. And so the question for me becomes, okay, so is Clemson that bad pass defense-wise, or are they just, mediocre pass defense, and they've just been trying to take away the run, and then in this game, they'll try to, drop more guys into coverage and really stop the passing attack? It's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I think Clemson will have some wrinkles, and if the wrinkles match kind of the tendencies of Wake Forest, it could balance out pretty well. I think another area to pay attention to, and this is another one of those areas where it's like, okay, who are you? Who are you this season? Clemson has 5 sacks this year. That's it. They only have 5 sacks. Wake, on the other hand, has allowed 7 sacks. That's 83rd in the country. So my point here is Clemson hasn't been good getting after the quarterback. Wake has been bad at protecting the quarterback. Something's got to give. Absolutely something has to give there. I think on the flip side for Clemson, they're running for 5.1 yards per carry. They're going to be able to run the football. And if you've watched these two teams play over the past few years, it's been Clemson dominating the line of scrimmage. I don't see any reason why that shouldn't change, but I also will tell you, I think that Wake is going to be able to score points in this game, especially at home. I think they're going to throw it around. They're going to be able to create some explosive plays in the pass game. So for me, I'm sitting here and I'm going, I think Clemson wins this game. I think they do. I don't think they cover, and I think this game hits the over. I do. 55.5. I think it can hit that. What is that? 29-28, 29-27. I think the final score will be something like 31-27. That's kind of where I have it marked. And I think Clemson survives. And I think we learn a lot about them, right? You go on the road, you play a team that kind of plays against your strengths with their ability to throw the football around, but you're also playing a team that should allow your defense to get after the quarterback, and you should remain a high-level run defense. Now, I don't think this game is going to tell me how good Clemson is throughout the year, but I do think it'll give me much more confidence in how they're going to be throughout ACC play. And I think that's big as well. I'm expecting a great football game, though, one of the better football games of the weekend going into this next weekend. So that's it on Clemson. We'll talk about a few more teams going on later in the week. I'll have my bets on Friday, my best bets, and that will do it for the week. So thanks for watching Crystal Ball College Football. This is Grayson Green.